Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. With this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 13 of the anime series DanMachi. And whoa, this episode was just all kinds of badass. It was layers upon layers, levels upon levels of badass with just everybody in play. And for all intents and purposes, this being hopefully the season 1 finale and not the series finale, all told, I hope we will be getting a second season of this at least, because it just, it was balls to the wall in its entirety. It gave us a true hero among heroes, someone to aspire toward in Belle Crannel, being both relatable and very realistic, in that sometimes we're very nervous, human beings, and we can still exude a prowess beyond our own imagination if we set our minds to it. And of course, this is depicting that on a grandiose scale, but nonetheless, he earned this ride every step of the way and this level of power and momentum, and we find out why by the end of this episode. And there's not even much you can really say about it. The entirety of this episode is one elongated battle, many different sort of facets of that battle. You have this giant behemoth Goliath crashing through the crystalline ceiling that is the under resort, this 18th floor, this purported safe zone. And it's much more than the floor boss they first assume it to be, because it has this regeneration ability, much like the Titans in Attack on Titan. Calling back to the illusion I made when we first saw this thing of, Eren Yeager is pissed and wants to take out Belle. Well, it was like that 100,000-fold in this episode, but he wasn't the only creature even cropping up in this purported safe zone. You had those wolves, you had the rabbits, you had the minotaurs and everything like that, and literally all of the adventurers, everybody who has been against Belle and everything, they all unified. Everyone who's there to save Belle or to support him, Welf, Lily, Rokka, Hestia, everybody is getting involved. And this episode gave me something even more so that I wanted in seeing Ryu just kicking all kinds of ass, much more than we have seen in previous episodes, and it was well worth the wait. She's 3/4 of this episode just slicing and dicing this sucker, and they're figuring out, oh my god, it's rejuvenating. They blow his lower jaw off his face and everything like that, and he's still coming. He's using this howl ability where he's shooting energy out of his mouth at people, and at one point he almost does it one after the other, like boom 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 boom, turning his head, and he's taking everybody out. And it's just absolutely insane. I mean, at one point you even see Ryu with all of her power. She gets grabbed by this thing, and she's only just barely saved because you have, Aspie coming in there and unleashing havoc, and you have, the Taki Familia trio of Mikoto, Oka, and Chigusa. Mostly Oka and Mikoto just opening all kinds of whoop-ass on this thing. And you see Oka being very, sort of trying to make amends for what led them all into this predicament to begin with, in the idea of running and leaving Belle, Welf, and Lily exposed to those creature attacks and everything episodes back now. He is trying to get over that. He's trying not to be like that. He wants to be heroic, and he wants to be selfless, and he doesn't want to leave other people hanging. He wants to try to save them, and he almost gets himself knocked out for the count. Belle, he is almost knocked out for the count. And I love toward the beginning of the episode, you have that moment where Ryu is she kind of quips to him, you're really not a hell of a leader at all, but at least you made the right decision. Let's try to save everybody, because that's what Belle is about as well. He really genuinely wants to save lives. He doesn't even know what brought this on, and it doesn't matter. Save people. Let's help them. Let's use whatever abilities we have and save lives. And I'm gobsmacked by it. Of course, there is that really eerie moment where it's almost as though his own spirit is overseeing his body, and Hestia and Lily, they're pleading for him to come to and to save the day. Hestia truly believes he is the integral force that will take out this creature, and you have Hermes coming up, and he is basically chanting these words that call back once again to flashbacks of Belle's grandfather, who from the start of the series went missing, air quotes. And you're wondering, you know, at least I am, I'm like, what is the deal here? How is he so well versed in this dialogue that was passed on from Belle's grandfather? What is the deal with this guy? Was he just, as we were led to believe at the start, an adventurer who got killed in action, went missing, you know, that kind of thing in the dungeons, and caused Belle to be the hero he is? And it's, you know, a Herculean effort, sort of no pun intended, that Belle just exudes. But what I love is in this final sort of level, not only do you have Ryu, not only do you have Mikoto, not only do you have Oka, but you also have Welf. He chases down that weapon that calls back on the Krotso magic. And there's a level of, you know, basically he's still hearing Hephaestus's words about, you know, don't let it be sort of a affront to your friends or whatever it is. And he does unleash this ultimate power, but it's almost as though the faith he placed in it was faltering. It was just about bravado in the end, and it wasn't some sort of internal power that he had harnessed. And so it was almost ineffective, you know. But then again, most of the attacks they were unleashing on this giant, it was just havoc was unfolding. And Belle in those final moments, with Hestia realizing he could go beyond, and there's some talk of, like, you know, beyond limit or whatever it is, or limit break off, that kind of situation. Like, I'm thinking back to the Final Fantasy series and Final Fantasy X specifically, where you have that, you know, sort of break damage limit and everything like that. You shut it off and you can suddenly do ginormous amounts of damage, HP damage and everything. And man, just him summoning this ability, you know, first he does that sort of fire call ability and he knocks this thing's head clear off, but it's still rejuvenating, and that's the point where he gets knocked down. And then he comes back, he's got that blade he's packing, and like, you just see him start glowing. He's emanating energy from within his entire body. His entire body goes liquid white. Like, you know, it was absolutely insane. And then that final decisive blow, even that is not enough to quell this beast. He has to pull out his dagger, the Hestia magic-imbued dagger, for that final shot. He digs it into the crystal and everything just erupts in that sparkly sort of smoke and everything like that. And I was just pumping. I was just like, man, you know. And then in the aftermath of which you have Hedibus just dropping the frickin' bombs all left, right, and center. Zeus, your grandson, is uber powerful. Not up to the task? WTF you talking about, mother trucker? You know, he just unleashed holy hell on this sucker. Zeus, grandson of Zeus, lord of all the gods. It's like, this explains quite a bit, you know, and it does also explain, like, Freya's interest. You see toward the end, as the credits are rolling, Freya's kind of like, you know, interesting developments. And I have to hope. I mean, with all of this sense of closure, there's still questions and strings in the storyline left hanging, that I am desperate. I mean, they would be completely insane, as far as I'm concerned, not to pick up with another season of this at the very least, because damn, just all kinds of damn by the end of this. And I like that, you know, you basically see them back in that tavern, of course, that Ryu and Seer work at and everything, and they're celebrating. And, you know, you got Bet, who's being told, don't drink, you know, don't get all drunk and be an ass, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, the fact that we have that closure of the sense that, well, they got out of the dungeon, you know, they managed to get out, they're all back home and everything like that. And that final shot, that just beautiful shot of Belle with his just well-earned rest, and you have Welf and Lilyruka looking on from outside the door, kind of, you know, Lord of the Ringsy there, with Frodo waking up and seeing the other hobbits, whatever you want to say. But there is Hestia. She knew he could do it. And once again, now she is literally, very literally, supporting his head in her lap, all the way she supported him throughout the course of the series. And it's just goosebumps by the end. At least for me, the entirety of the course of this series was a pleasant surprise. I was drawn to it because I just like, series. I was coming off Log Horizon, and I have a history with liking series like Dot Hack and Sword Art Online, even though that's definitely not even a perfect series. But this one was pitched so perfect all across it with the RPG aesthetic, and it's a real world aesthetic for these characters. Gods and goddesses exist, monsters, creatures, a dungeon, all this kind of stuff, leveling up, and these aspects, they are a genuine part of their lives. They're not stuck in a video game or anything like that. And that was immediately creative to me. It was drawing me in, and I love the animation style, the look of the characters, the cuteness, the kawaiiness of Hestia herself, and some of the other females in the series, whether they are airheaded like Eyes or whether they are all kinds of lethal and badass like Ryu. And it's just, Bell himself is the centerpiece, and now we see why he can wield so much power, but it doesn't even matter that he has lineage ties to Zeus, the god of gods. I mean, that is a fantastic footnote. That's like a gobsmacking, dumbstruck, thunderstruck sort of revelation, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't know that. That's not anything to do with his motivations. His motivations come purely from his own good-hearted soul and everything like that. He is just a character you can aspire toward. He never gives up. In the face of tremendous adversity, he never backs down. And he will risk his own life to save his friends. He will give people second, third, fourth chances, even if they defy him, like Lilyruka and everything like that. He is just an absolute tremendous character. And this series has been a tremendous series. And it's excited me every step of the way. I'm left with every single episode with bated breath. Like, I can't wait to see the next one. And I really couldn't wait to see this particular, season, hopefully season finale. And I just am dying for more. I'm left wanting more. Tantamount, just want. I want more of it. Zeus, grant us this wish. Hestia, grant us this wish. All the gods and goddesses of the series come together and give us more of this series. And that's all you can really ask for by the end. And so, I mean, if you can't tell by this particular video, I love this series. I loved it every step of the way. I loved so many of the characters, and I want more. That's all I can say about it. This was a phenomenal way to go out, and it was a phenomenal series all the way through. It was expertly paced, never a wasted moment, never a wasted character, all of the twists and turns, and enough left hanging in the balance, head-scratchingly so, to be like a full, more 13 episodes. 13 more episodes is ripe for the picking. Yeah, so I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this, hopefully, again, season finale of DanMachi, if you've seen it, or is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon because it was all kind of badass on this side of the camera? And I want to know from you guys if you loved it as much as I did, if you're chomping at the bit for more like I am, if it, didn't live up to your expectations. Anything goes in the comments below. Love having the conversation with you guys, as I always say. And so, yeah, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well. May the Lord Zeus and Hestia and all these gods and goddesses be with you and grant our wish, for those of you also wishing along with me to get more of this series. And, yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.